Right, Justin, thanks for joining us today, mate. Obviously, you're our branch manager in the West for our business and been in that mining market in particular for coming up 9 years, and you're obviously frequently interacting with customers and candidates. I guess I wanted to ask you in relation to the mining space at the moment, what trends are you seeing, whether it's rosters, remuneration, benefits, the wider sort of supply and demand dynamics, be that across blue or white collar? I mean, what sort of views could you share in that regard in terms of what you're currently seeing out there?
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Shaun. Just in relation to rosters, we've seen a real shift towards flexibility. So more of that work-life balance, I guess, recently. So increasing even time rosters, like 2 and 2 rosters, 7 and 7s. Recently even heard of a 2 on 4 off roster, which is one that is a bit different. But it's all about finding different ways for people to be home more with their families, I guess. Including sort of job share arrangements as well, which is sort of new in the industry over here.
Yeah, and I think the other thing we sort of picked up last week quickly was even some roles trying to enable them that were largely done on site. Obviously, some roles have to be done on site, but some roles that could be done in Perth, allowing the individual to do that role, i.e. maybe things like maintenance planning or mine planning from Perth as opposed to being site-based.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess the big businesses like Rio setting up their autonomous centres down here as well with the shift towards that technology. People are going to be home more.
Absolutely. And what about rates? What are you sort of seeing in terms of salaries or the wage rates out there at the moment?
Yeah, so also around what we discussed last week, a bit of an increase in white-collar salaries up to around that sort of 10% mark due to shortages in specialist areas. A lot of companies are working on their retention strategies, aware of the risk associated with losing their staff, so are doing whatever they can to keep their good people within their business if it does include increasing their pay rates to retain them.
And further to that point, be it tapping into the East Coast or internationally, is sort of seeing any developments in that regard?
Yeah, I guess there's a bit of a nationwide shortage for a few different a lot of different job categories, nationwide sort of construction contracts causing shortages here. So increasing international recruitment, moving towards that 482 visa for some critical areas. I guess the target sort of spots that we're seeing people look into around the Philippines, which we've obviously been involved in for the New Zealand team, but also looking at New Zealand candidates to bring back over to Australia and also into the UK as well.
Some good insights there. I mean, building on that, Justin, any other sort of recommendations or perspectives you would offer to clients seeking to get their hands on talent, given the market is really starting to tighten up?
Yeah, definitely. I think upskilling is something that we've been talking about a lot, and providing entry-level opportunities for candidates. That's only going to strengthen the candidate pool in the long term, and for businesses themselves, it's going to create a better working environment in the long term for them, where staff feel that will stay with that business because they've been given an opportunity. And also sort of have that fresh breed of person coming in without having the preconceived ideas around the industry from last boom phases.
And I think in a simplistic fashion, generally that group of people, further to the points you make, they've got a mindset of gratefulness versus entitlement, which is having some cultural benefits, if not retention benefits for customers from what we're hearing. So I guess sort of just moving forward to maybe the last question, what's your sort of prediction or read on the market conditions over the next few months? I mean, obviously we've seen with BHP, FMG and Rio all sort of launching mega projects, $1 billion plus projects again, and we haven't sort of seen that since probably Roy Hill and some of the oil and gas projects. But what's your sort of take on the market conditions over the next sort of 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, exactly. Those new contracts or the new large projects that are firing up are definitely going to strengthen the employment growth over here, which we've seen sort of 3 years consecutive growth in employment over here. The investment in WA has fallen over that 3-year period, but that said, as of March this year, investment is about $5 billion above predictions from September last year. So the sentiment within the industry is pretty positive, and I guess the confidence around the next 12 to 18 months is very good.
So now, I think we picked up last week. Clients are really optimistic about some of the opportunities in front of them at the moment, which is great. And I think it's probably a great time for a candidate to be in that West Coast market with some of the opportunities and conditions on offer. So seems like there's some great prospects for everyone moving forward over there, which is great after a challenging few years. But mate, thanks for sharing some of those insights. Really appreciate your take on the market. Some good takeaways out of today. So thank you.
Thanks, Shaun.
Cheers, mate.